Hello students, I hope you are all fine and in good health. In this audio presentation, I will be discussing the part from Ranga's marriage, the part where I left in my previous audio presentation. Now, as you know, that Ranga came from Bangalore after completing his higher studies, and when he reached Bangalore, after that. A lot of villagers came to greet him, to meet with him, because he was the first one, most probably, that went to Bangalore for higher studies from the village Hosahalli. So when he came, a large crowd of people mill around his house, but when they found out, much to their happiness and satisfaction, that Ranga was exactly the same what he was previously, they all dispersed, just like a lump of sugar in a child's mouth. But the narrator stayed there, and Ranga interacted with the narrator, and not only that, he even touched the feet of the narrator. That shows that Ranga was traditional, deeply religious. But that particular afternoon, when Ranga came to meet with the author with a couple of oranges in his hand, and when the author, being a potential matchmaker, asked Ranga what are his plans of related with marriage, at that time Ranga's reply was very ultra modern as well as very progressive. Now, dear students, I am now focusing on that part. So let's start, dear students. That afternoon, when I was resting, Ranga came to my house with a couple of oranges in his hand. A generous, considerate fellow. It would be a fine thing to have him marry, settle down, and be of service to society, I thought. Obviously, the narrator, who was actually a potential matchmaker, now he can't think of any other thing apart from getting Ranga married. So it would be a fine thing to have him marry, settle down, and be of service to society. For a while, we talked about this and that. We gossiped a bit. Then I came to the point. Rangappa, when do you plan to get married? And dear students, I like to say here, I might skip some lines also. I will be focusing only on the important textual portions. I will be focusing only on the important NCERT textual portions. I won't be discussing all the lines. So let me move on. So, since you know that matchmaking was the profession of the narrator, so he asked Ranga that when do you plan to get married, quote unquote. The dialogue that Ranga gave to the narrator was also very significant, and here I quote: I am not going to get married now. Why not? I need to find the right girl. Now, Ranga told instantly and very promptly, Ranga told that I need to find the right girl. So I won't be getting married right now. Uh, I know an officer. Now, this is an incident that he got to know while he was in Bangalore and decided to share it with the narrator. I know an officer who got married only 6 months ago. He is about 30 and his wife is 25, I am told. They will be able to talk lovingly to each other because of the age compatibility. It is almost 5 years, so they can talk with one another very frankly. Even their bonding also will be very strong, and the officer is only 30 and his wife is 25, so the age of compatibility is the one that Ranga had put stress on, because he is of the opinion that if he marries a young girl, so that girl, she may take my words spoken in love as words spoken in anger. There might be a terrible misunderstanding, because the girl might misunderstand him, and considered his words spoken in love as words spoken in anger. Not only that, Ranga is of the opinion that if one gets married, it should be to a girl who is mature. Now, Ranga strictly told the author that if he gets married to someone in the near future, then it should be to a girl who is mature. Otherwise, he is more than happy to remain a bachelor throughout his life. That's why this is the main reason that Ranga is not marrying yet. Is there any other reason? The narrator told Ranga. Then Ranga, in reply, told that a man should marry a girl he admires. He should not marry anyone else's choice. He should marry someone whom he must admire, or he should marry a girl whom he admires. Okay, he should not be pressurized in this, because this particular story was more or less the backdrop or the background is the pre-independence era, and the views of Ranga was not in favor of arranged marriages. The view of Ranga is in favor of love marriages, because it seems that his ideas about marriage are very progressive. It's not regressive, but the society at that time, it was very regressive, superstitious, orthodox and conservative society, and which put a lot of stress on arranged marriages. But Ranga turned out to be a bit different from the others. Now I am moving on to the very end of this particular segment or of this particular paragraph, because as I told you, only the important parts I will be discussing. I was distressed that the boy who I thought would make a good husband had decided to remain a bachelor. After chatting for a little longer, Ranga left. I made up my mind right then that I would get him married. Now, this is very important. Now, the author had taken the challenge on his own, that he decided that somehow, by hook or by crook, he had taken this challenge that I will let him marry. Okay, and I have taken a promise that whatever it takes, I would get him married. Ranga should marry, and Ranga will marry. So it was a challenge, because the matchmaker, the narrator, already he got a negative sort of a reply from Ranga, that he won't be marrying a girl unless and until the girl is mature enough. Otherwise, he is happy to stay a bachelor. Now let's move on. Rama Rao's niece. Now, again, in this paragraph that I am starting right now, for the very first time, we will get to know about another major character, and that is the would be wife of Ranga, that is Ratna. So, dear students, let's continue. Rama Rao's niece, a pretty girl of 11, had come to stay with him. She was from a big town, so she knew how to play the veena and the harmonium. Culturally, very much educated, and she came from a big town, so she can easily sing, and her singing voice or her tonal quality is very melodious. And not only that, she knew how to play the veena and the harmonium, two of the most religious and prestigious musical instruments of our country. She also had a melodious voice, that is the meaning of the word sweet voice. Both her parents had died, and her uncle had brought her home. Both her parents had died, and it was Rama Rao who brought her home. Ranga was just the boy for her, and she the most suitable bride for him. Now, the narrator thought that Ranga was exactly the perfect choice. Ranga was the perfect one for her, and she was the perfect one for him. Since I was a frequent visitor, that means a daily or a regular visitor to Ramarao's place, the girl Ratna was quite free with me. Now, the author or the narrator, rather to say precisely, he already devised a plan or a scheme in such a way that Ranga and Ratna they can see each other. Okay, they can see each other for the very first time. So that is the reason he decided uh, to request Ramarao's wife to send Ratna to his house, because with the help of Ratna, he would send Ramarao's wife some buttermilk. So Ratna, as a result, came to the house of the narrator. It was Friday, and so she was wearing a sari. I told her to sit in my room and requested her to sing a song, and Ratna's voice was very melodious while she was singing. And at that time, the narrator sent for Ranga, and she was singing the lines, Krishnamurti in front of my eyes. Ranga reached the door. He stopped at the threshold, that means near the entrance of the house of the narrator. And Ranga was very much impressed, superbly impressed, we can say, by the melodious voice of Ratna. But he couldn't see the girl at that time. He did not want the singing to stop, but was very much inquisitive to see the singer. Carefully, he peeped in. The light coming into the room was blocked. Because why? Because Ranga already peeped inside the room. And Ratna, who was singing so nicely, decided to stop right there only, because she saw a singer. Because she saw a stranger there. Sorry, students. She saw a stranger there, and as a result, she stopped all of a sudden, or rather to say, she abruptly stopped, because the narrator was very frank with her, and she knew the narrator. The narrator was familiar with her, but not Ranga, and that was the reason she stopped her singing. Now, again, Venkatesha Iyengar, or Masti Venkatesha Iyengar, had given another comparison or a beautiful imagery. Now, this imagery would be very clear to all of you, and it's a very meaningful imagery. Suppose you buy the best quality mango, you eat it slowly, savoring its peel before biting into the juicy flesh. You do not want to waste any part of it. Before you take another bite, the fruit slips out of your hand and falls to the ground. So, the delicious mango, you can't eat it because it slips accidentally. Suppose, for instance, it slips from your hand and it falls to the ground. How do you feel? Obviously, how do you feel? Ranga's face showed the same disappointment when the singing stopped. Okay, because the facial expression of a person who actually was having a mango which is very tasty, but it accidentally falls from his hand. Now, what will be the facial expression of that person? Just imagine the facial expression of that person and compare it with the facial expression of Ranga. Ranga was totally disappointed, utterly disappointed with himself, because and he felt that he was the guilty one, because the song was so nicely sung by the girl, or the girl was singing so nicely. It was the presence of Ranga that destroyed everything. Now, let me move on. How do you feel? Ranga's face showed the same disappointment when the singing stopped. You sent for me? He asked as he came in and sat on a chair. Ratna stood at a distance, her head lowered. Ranga repeatedly glanced at her. Once our eyes met, and he looked very, very embarrassed. No one spoke for a long while. There was a still silence all around, and Ranga was looking at Ratna at the same time. The narrator was also looking at Ratna and Ranga, and finally, Ranga and the narrator, their eyes met with one another, and both felt very embarrassed. They both felt very shy. No one spoke for a long while. It was my coming in that stopped the singing. Let me leave. But Ranga decided to stay on. And the narrator very humorously and jokingly told that in this age of Kali Yuga, words and actions they don't match up with one another. Now, Ranga was very much curious to know the name of the girl. Now, the important thing is that in the next paragraph is very important. Who's that inside? The lion wanted to know. The he goat who had taken shelter in the temple replied, does it matter who I am? I am a poor animal who has already eaten 9 lions. This is a very important line. That means the narrator, being a potential matchmaker, he had successfully solemnized the marriage of 9 prospective bridegrooms previously. Now, the 10th one will be Ranga, because already he decided to get Ranga married off soon, and he considered himself to be the he goat. What does it matter to either of us who she is? I am already married, and you aren't the marrying kind. Now, obviously, the important thing was that it was been told by the narrator that why you are so eager to know about it, because I am already married and you are not the marrying kind, and you won't be marrying right now. So why there is so much of curiosity can be seen in you. Very hopefully, he asked, she isn't married then? His voice did not betray his excitement, but I knew it was there. That means slowly and slowly, he actually developed a sort of a liking, or rather to say, a soft corner in his heart for Ratna. Now, but the author wanted to test whether this is fake or this is real. And so he told that she was married a year ago. Oh no, that girl. Yes, that girl was already married. That girl was already married a year ago. His face shriveled like a roasted brinjal. After a while, Ranga left saying, I must go. I have work at home. Ranga was utterly disappointed. Never ever thought that this girl also was a married girl. Now, Ranga totally disappointed, and everything is moving according to the plan of the narrator. I went to our Sastri the next morning and told him, keep everything ready to read the stars. I will come later. And obviously, the narrator took Sastri ji into his confidence and told all about his scheme, or told all about his plan. To whom? Told all about his plan to uh, Sastriji, because now Sastriji will act and react as far as the author had already planned. So I tutored him in all that I wanted him to say. I found no change in Ranga when I met him that afternoon. That afternoon, the author had made with Ranga, and there was no change as such. He presumed that maybe Ranga was suffering from headache, but Ranga told that no, I am my usual self, and there is no problem as such, no headache as such. Then, when Ranga was reluctant to visit a doctor's chamber, Ranga was been taken to an astrologer by the name of Sastriji, who was already been trained prior to the arrival of Ranga by the narrator. I went through the same thing when the process of choosing a girl for me was going on. So, obviously, the narrator told Ranga that yes, I also went through the same ordeal. I went also through the same experience when the process of choosing a girl for me was going on. But I don't think that that could be a reason for your present condition. I think something else is there. I don't think that is a reason for your present condition. Ranga stared at the narrator. Stared means look fixedly, because Ranga is gave an angry look. That means that part, that actually that angry look made it very clear to the narrator that Ranga already was in love with Ratna. But the narrator already gave the information that the girl is already married. The girl is married a year ago. Now let's see what more is written. Come, let's go and see Sastri. We will find out whether Guru and Shani are favorable for you or not. Okay, so this is very important. So Ranga was taken to Sastri ji. I got angry. Shama is now there is some lines that I missed. I apologize for that, dear students. Let me move on. Ranga accompanied me without any protest, and as soon as Sastri saw me, he exclaimed, "What a surprise, Shama! Haven't seen you for a long time." Shama is none other than your servant, the narrator of this tale. Shama is none other but the servant, that is the narrator of this tale. So, after reading almost 3.5 to 4 pages later, we are getting to know the name of the narrator. I got angry and shouted, "What? Only this morning?" Sastri completed my sentence. "You finished all your work and are now free to visit me." Had he not done so, I would have ruined our plan by bustling like grains that are kept in the sun to dry. I was extremely careful of what I said afterwards, because if Sastri expose everything, and then obviously the entire plan will be exposed and everything will be like grains being thrown all over the floor or in a room. Everything will be exposed, because a Sastri was actually been told to act, but Sastri did a lot of overacting. Also later also we'll get to know about it, because Sastri was like a comic relief. Okay, dear students, Sastri was actually a character, a very comic character. So let us move on. Sastri turned to Ranga. "When did the young son of our accountant clerk come home? What can I do for him? It's very rarely that he visits us." Rarely means hardly. Now, Sastri ji told Ranga that what can I do for him. Now, obviously, indirectly, he interacted with the narrator also, that what can be done related with this boy. Now, uh, let us move on. Uh, Take out your paraphernalia, that means all your miscellaneous things related with astrology. Our Rangappa seems to have something on his mind. Can you tell us what's worrying him? Now, obviously, let us put to test your science related with astrology, that something is going on in the mind of Ranga. Now, could you say what exactly is going on in her mind, in his mind? There was authority in my voice as I spoke to Sastri. He took out 2 sheets of paper, some coins, cowries means some coins, and a book of palmyra leaves, saying, "Ours is an ancient science, Aya. There's a story in it, but I won't tell you that story now. That this is not a harikatha which allows you to tell a story within a story. You may get bored. I will tell it to you some other time." Now, Shastriji was very much eager to say something related with this ancient tradition, Hindu tradition of astrology and all these things, gods and goddesses and other things, but decided not to go on explaining or exclaiming other things, but to state exactly what is the matter, what is the exact situation. And already the narrator had given a lot of information to Sastriji, so there won't be any problem for him to do a bit of deduction and calculation. So let us move on. Sastri moved his lips fast as he counted on his fingers and then asked, "What's your star?" That means, what is your zodiac sign? Ranga didn't know. "Never mind," Sastri indicated with a shake of his head. He did some more calculations before saying in a serious tone, "It's about a girl." Yes, it is related with a girl. Yes, I do feel like it's about a girl, and obviously, the narrator. It was very difficult for the narrator to control his laughter, but I mean, Ranga got extremely interested because. And another important thing is that why the narrator was laughing. The reason behind it is that it was acted in a very realistic manner by Sastriji. But now I burst out laughing. I turned to Ranga, exactly what I had said. Who is the girl? It is your humble servant who asks the question. Obviously, it is your humble servant. As you know, the style of the author is very interactive. So, humble servant, obviously, he referred to himself as the humble servant. So, we can understand that this question was been told, or rather to say this question was asked by the narrator, that is we can say Shama, that is the name of the narrator. See this line: I had been controlling my laughter all this while, but now I burst out laughing. I turned to Ranga, exactly what I had said. Who is the girl? It was your humble servant who asked the question. Sastri thought for a while before replying. She probably her name of something found in the ocean. Kamala, maybe. Could it be Pachi moss? Must it be moss if it's not Kamala? Why not Pal or Ratna? The precious stone Ratna. The girl in Ramarao's house is Ratna. Tell me, is there any chance of our negotiation bearing fruit? So now see, everything has been pre-planned. Even Sastri ji was also gossiping, was also talking. All these things are exactly pre-planned. Now, obviously, when Sastri ji told the name of the girl, Ranga was extremely surprised. Now, at that time only, at that moment only, it was Shama, the narrator, told that, yes, Sastri ji, is there any chance of Ranga getting in a relationship with Ratna? Is there any chance? Definitely, he said, after thinking for some time. There was surprise on Ranga's face and some happiness also. I noticed it. Obviously, Ranga was surprised, and at the same time, Ranga was very, very happy also. But that girl is married, I said. Then I turned to him. His face had fallen. But again, it seems that the narrator was very much interested to play mind games with Ranga. And obviously, now Ranga is totally within the trap. So he can't move out of it. Now, Sastriji, he told about the name of the girl, that is Ratna, and all this. Now, at the same time, the Shama of the narrator told that how can it is possible that Ratna is the name of the girl because she is already married. Now, and listening to this again from the narrator, Ranga was very, very disappointed. So let me move on. We left. I don't know all that. There may be some other girl who is suitable. The I only told you what our Sastra indicated. Sastri said. Now, Sastri ji was very much in a angry mood at that time. So he told that is what my Sastra told me, that I referred here. It can be any other girl also. It should not. It is not necessary that it has to be Rama Rao's niece by the name of Ratna. It can be anyone else. We left the place. On the way, we passed by Rama Rao's house. Ratna was standing at the door. I went in alone and came out a minute later. And of course, he came with a very good news that will actually make Ranga very happy. Surprisingly, the girl isn't married. It seems someone told me the other day that she was. That's a wrong information been given by someone else to me the other day. What Sastri told us had turned out to be what Sastri told us had turned out to be true after all. But Rangappa, I can't believe that you have been thinking of her. Swear on the name of Madhavacharya. Now, Madhavacharya was actually an exponent of Vedantic philosophy. Now, obviously, as I told you, Madhavacharya, an exponent of Vedantic philosophy. Now, at this point, the narrator asks Ranga that swear on me. You were thinking about her. Is it true what Sastri said that you were actually thinking about her? I do not know whether anyone else would have been direct. Ranga admitted, yes, I was actually thinking about her. From the time that I heard about her singing, from that time onwards, every now and then, I was thinking about her. That's greater truth in that Sastra than we imagine. What he said is absolutely true. Now, Ranga confirmed to the narrator, much to the latter's happiness, that whatever Sastriji told Ranga, everything was true. And Ranga went on believing in the Sastras. Now, see this line. This is a very important line also for an MCQ. Very important line related with the reference to the context. It's greater truth in that Shastra than we imagine. What he said is absolutely true, and obviously it seems that Ranga went on believing more in the Shastras, and Ranga is saying here that what he said is absolutely true. There is no doubt about it. And it seems that whatever Sastriji told, everything is getting messed up with the feelings of Ranga, and that is what the narrator actually wanted. In the narrator wanted that Ranga at least develop a soft corner in his heart for Ratna, so that ultimately the rest of the thing he can manage. So, dear students, I stop here in this audio presentation. In my next audio presentation, I will be completing this entire chapter. Now, your duty, dear students, is to go through this particular text and also go through the portion that I had discussed in this audio lecture. And after that, if there is any doubt anywhere, let me know about it. Thank you, students. Thank you all.